you guys, it is me, Laura, and I am a homeschooling mom to 3 kids ages 10, 8, and 3. And you might have noticed, if you have been around here for a while, that there has been a change to the name of my channel. I was previously Balanced Vitality. I have changed the name to Ticket to Learning, and I'll explain that now. But if you'd like to skip this part and jump straight ahead to the book reviews, I have left some timestamps in the description below. But basically, when I started this channel a long time ago, it was all about babies, and then babies at home, and being a stay-at-home mom, and then it was kind of a lifestyle channel. But over time, it has really transformed into a homeschooling channel. And while in the future there may be an occasional recipe or whatever thrown in here, it is really more of a homeschool and home education channel, and I wanted the name to reflect that. So someday I also hope, maybe in my lifetime, I will be able to write curriculum and produce it and sell it, and Ticket to Learning is always the name that I have wanted for that. So I thought I would go ahead and make this channel Ticket to Learning, because I feel like when we learn through books and through hands-on things, and just basically in a way that's tailored for each child, it's really like their ticket to learning. Education is their ticket to learning. So that is kind of a brief overview. I'll probably remind you a couple times on the next few videos here, but I was Balanced Vitality. If that's who you're looking for, you're at the right place, but now I am Ticket to Learning. That is the channel. So without any more introduction, let's go ahead and jump into some of the books that we have been enjoying in our homeschool this month. We're going to start with my 3-year-old, and now these are the books that she has been enjoying with me. She does a lot of reading with her dad, and I'm not sure which book she's picking over and over for him, but at least in her reading time with me, she has been enjoying this book. It is from the Good and the Beautiful Summer Reading Program, and this is actually one that I got for my son, but she really loves looking at all the pictures of the dogs and the kitties, and she has been spending lots of time poring over these pages, and she has really been enjoying this one. Another one that she has asked us to read to her multiple times is the How Deep is the Ocean? So this we pulled. I like to pull books for her that go with the indescribable devotionals that we read for our morning basket in the morning, and this was one that we read, and she keeps asking for it over and over again. It really just goes through the ocean depths. You dive in your submersible and learn all about phytoplankton and floor vents and all the different layers of the ocean and how big it is, and she's really been enjoying this one. So next, some books that my 8-year-old has been really enjoying. We've been working on a police unit study, and this is always a favorite in our house. If you have not read it, it's really great. It's about this officer who goes to do safety talks and nobody listens to him, and he starts taking his dog who does all these tricks, and everybody loves it, and then he starts feeling like, well, maybe they like my dog and not me, so maybe he shouldn't go. So in the end, he learns that going together as a team is really the best way to keep everyone safe, and it's a super cute book. And one that my husband and him have been reading, and my 8-year-old have been reading together in the evening, and he has been enjoying, is this Great Battles for Boys. He loves history, and especially anything that is related to a battle or a war, so they've been enjoying this together. And I know that this one is a little bit graphic in some places. My 8-year-old is pretty sensitive, so my husband will edit a little bit as needed when he reads this to him, but they've been enjoying these stories together. And it's got this one is Ancients to Middle Ages, and I can just show you some of the battles that it covers. So it covers the battles, and usually what it does, there's oftentimes some pictures and imagery in here. So it'll have this, and then it's just each battle that we'll discuss in a few pages. And some sections are longer, and then they're broken down, like some chapters are longer and broken down into more sections, but then this is cool. So at the end of each section, if a child is particularly interested in a battle, they can get more books and find out more. So that's really fun. And then there's also some movies and internet links as well. So that is Great Battles for Boys by Joe oh my goodness, Giorello. I'm sure I slaughtered that, but there's more books in this series too. I know he has the Civil War one, there's a general one, there's a bunch of books in this series. So if you have a boy who loves battles and wars, you might like those. So next we're moving on to my 10-year-old and his 2 favorite books that he read himself this month, and this printed way bigger than I intended. I Survived the Battle of D-Day, and we had to return this one back to the library, so I just printed the cover so you could see. He loves the I Survived books without fail. Every single one that he's read he has really enjoyed, and this one was no exception. And he also read this. This was also from the Good and the Beautiful Summer Reading Program. This is the one that they sent for his age. It's called Johnny McKee and the Big Flood. And it says, after exploring the woods with his friends, Johnny McKee makes a quick trip to the nearby Rolfe Dairy Farm to see their horse, Red Boy. He could never guess the terrible situation he would cause due to a simple mistake. Things worsen when a natural disaster hits and Johnny finds himself in an increasingly dangerous situation. So when he read this, he gave it 5 stars, and my son hardly ever gives any book 5 stars. He said one of the things that he really liked about it is that it's exciting and it's fast, but it's not too exciting. So I think he means it's not really tense. He said sometimes the I Survived books can feel kind of tense, which he actually gives those 5-star ratings a lot, but not, well, sometimes he'll give those 5-star ratings. But the only other books that I think he's given 5-star, I think, was Bat, A Boy Called Bat. I'm trying to remember if he gave The One and Only Ivan 5 stars, but not a lot of books get 5 stars, but he did give this one a 5-star review, and he really, really enjoyed it. There were a couple books that the kids listened to on audiobook. Now, when they do audiobooks, I don't always hear the whole book with them. Sometimes they'll listen to them when they're driving places. Sometimes they'll listen to them in their bedroom, and they try to listen to them together, but I catch snippets of them. So I can't give you as much of an overview of these, but these are the ones that they really enjoyed this month. Both boys absolutely loved this one. My husband really enjoyed this one too. He took them on a big hiking trip and they listened to this in the car there and back, so he got to hear quite a bit of it. But I think it's based on a true story about this wolf that just wanders around, gets lost in the pack, and all the different challenges that he comes up against. And I think because they tracked him in real life, they were able to glean a lot more to write this story. So yeah, they really enjoyed that. I would say that this is in the same vein as Pax or Wild Robot kind of story, but they both really, really liked this one. And then the other one they listened to that they enjoyed is Mary Poppins. So we bought tickets. We have a local outdoor theater, and it's actually very close to where we live. This year I bought tickets for us to go see Mary Poppins, so I thought it'd be fun for them to read the book first. We'll probably also watch the movie before we go. The book is very, very different from the movie. It's kind of, I don't know, I thought it was a little bit odd. I wasn't particularly I didn't think it was amazing. I was not impressed, I guess. It wasn't bad, I just wasn't impressed with the parts that I heard, but the kids enjoyed it. So yeah, there's that. And the last section is books that I have been reading, and this month I didn't read as much as I usually do. I'm working towards reading 100 books that are new to me over the course of the year, and I have 58, I think, at this point, so I'm still not behind. But this month I didn't read a ton, but the ones that I really enjoyed, I read this one, which is Hunger, A Tale of Courage by Donna Jo Napoli, and I probably said that wrong, but this is about a girl who lived in Ireland during the Irish potato famine, and this book is absolutely amazing. It is not a feel-good book, so you're not gonna read this book and then feel really good. It's pretty heavy as far as topic. It's talking about poverty, it talks about death, it talks about social class differences and why they're that way, but this is really good. I would recommend it honestly for kids ages 10 and up, and if you have a really sensitive child, maybe even older than that. There are a couple pretty graphic scenes in here. One is when a family basically starve and freeze to death, and it talks about the bodies, and they find one of the bodies where a dog had drug it off, and it doesn't go into a whole lot more detail than what I just gave you, but it's still kind of graphic. And then there's also a scene where there's a row between authorities and a mob and someone gets shot, and it talks about that a little bit. So if you have a particularly sensitive child, you might want to go a little bit older, but I would not recommend this for under 10, but kids older than that. It is so well written. The author does a good job of presenting a heavy topic, but putting enough humanity, enough humor, enough light spots that it makes it really good, and it helps you understand what it might have been like to live through the potato famine. And so I really, really enjoyed this book. It was very hard to put down. I really liked it. The next one, this one is so fun. I want to get this one. I checked it out at the library, so I just have the printout, but Escape from Mr. Limoncello's Library. There's a series, and I definitely want to read them more. I am thinking of adding into our morning basket a completely fun book that is not built on a unit study, because we only do our unit studies 4 days a week for morning basket, but most mornings the kids are really interested in me reading to them. So I thought it might be fun to maybe have another book in there all the time that's just a fun one that we do. I don't know. I'm trying to decide, but if we do that, this would totally be that. Of course, this would make a really awesome unit study too. It's about these, is it 12-year-olds? I think it's 12. Is it 13? I can't remember. Oh no. Anyway, I think it's 12-year-olds. I think they have 12-year-olds because this town that they grew up in has been without a library for 12 years. And so Mr. Limoncello, who is a famous game maker, buys the library and revives it. And at the grand opening, there are 12th graders that can win a ticket to stay in the library overnight before it opens up. And once they go in, they're in a big part of this game where they have to solve the puzzle, solve the riddle to escape the library before the time goes up to win the prize. And they're not 100% sure what the prize is. I think they're going to be in some commercials and some other stuff. So, but all throughout this book, there are loads of references to all sorts of classic literature, modern literature, just coming out of your ears. And it's a really, really fun plot that keeps you very interested. In the end, of course, it talks a lot about teamwork and the importance of that. There's lots of riddles and puzzles to solve, and it is such a fun book. So I enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to enjoying it with my kids too. So the last one, I am trying to find books for a Middle Ages unit study that I'm hoping to do here with the kids, maybe September. But this is one of the ones that I read, and I enjoyed it. It's Castle Diary. It is the journal of Tobias Burgess. And I'm usually not a huge fan of journal style books for read-alouds because they're often a little bit boring and difficult to follow as far as a storyline, but this was not the case. I really enjoyed this. There were little events that would happen. There would be multiple journal entries about each of the events, so you could kind of separate it into sections, and it showed a whole lot about living in the Middle Ages. So Tobias Burgess goes to live with his rich uncle for a year to train as a page, and this kind of covers his journey through that time while he learns all about life in a castle, which it's totally foreign to him. It talks about some of the gross things about how they go to the bathroom and things like that, but it also talks about some of the things like jousting. And it's interesting because in the book, the jousting is a multi-day tournament event, but by the end he's sick of it. He's sick of hearing all the speeches that everyone gives and all of that. So it takes some of these fun elements and gives you like the grand awesome picture that we always think of, but it also balances it out with the real nitty-gritty of everyday life in the Middle Ages, which, let's face it, it wasn't always pretty, but the tone is very upbeat, very good. There is one little section in here that I'm not crazy about. When he was at a banquet, of course, he's wearing tights. That's part of his uniform, part of what he has to wear. So he sits with his legs splayed out, and he's made fun of because you're not supposed to, by some of the other pages, because you're not supposed to show your privy parts. And that's basically the extent of it, but yeah, so there's that. But this is it's really well done. I also like that in the end, it's got a section about what life was like in the world of Tobias Burgess, and it goes more like a nonfiction companion to everything that you read in the book. And so I felt like this was really good. It's kind of short for a read aloud, so I don't know if we'll do it for our read aloud for our unit, but we're going to be traveling maybe when we do this unit study. So I might use this as an audiobook, but I'm not sure. But I think that it's really well done. And the illustrations that are included that are pen and ink all throughout the story are super good. So really enjoyed that. So anyway, I talked way too much about these books. This is a very, very long video. I'm so sorry it is so long. But I would love to, if you have any questions about these books, feel free to leave them below, and I'd love to hear what you are enjoying reading in your homeschool. And just a reminder again, you will see that my channel name has changed from Balanced Vitality to Ticket to Learning, and I'm excited about fully embracing this as a homeschooling channel. And I hope that you're having a great day and a wonderful summer, and I will talk to you later. Bye.